Today we are going to discuss Antelope Dendrobiums, which are technically part of the Spatulata section. Their name is pretty self-explanatory. If you look at the flowers, I mean, they have these beautiful twisted petals that look like antelope antlers. Now, as you can tell, these are pretty tall plants in general. Some are a little smaller, especially the ones growing in Australia, but the vast majority are fairly tall plants. Now, in terms of care, these are perfect here in South Florida because they thrive in heat. Actually, if you have some colder nights, that might be an issue, as they really don't like cold. So below 55 degrees Fahrenheit, so something around 15 Celsius, I personally bring them inside, especially if they have new buds. Watering, unlike other types of dendrobiums, is year-round. There is no rest. And personally, I water them every day. Now, like as always, when it comes to orchids, this is not an exact science, and so if you're doing something different and it works, well, please continue to do so. Fertilizing is year-round as well. I fertilize once a week. As you can tell, these pots tend to be smallish. You want to underpot dendrobiums. I don't go overboard because the other thing is that they really hate repotting. So, for instance, this one is grown in a basket. It's kind of mounted, and it's been thriving for 2 years. It basically blooms non-stop, but I do not repot it. So, small pots, avoid repotting. That's pretty standard across all dendrobiums, not just for the Spatulata. Of light, these are highlight dendrobiums. These ones, they get 6 to 9 hours of sun every day, but it is filtered light. So if you look here, we are underneath a screened-in room, and so this is filtered light, but it's highlight throughout the day. Now, like I said, these are really thriving under those conditions. This one has 11 inflorescences and close to 200 flowers. They're probably going to last 3 months. These are very long-lasting blooms. Most of them last at least 3 months and some more. This one started in September. This is now January. And as you can tell, there's the first bloom is gone, the second inflorescence here, and then there's a third one coming. So it's safe to say that I will have blooms for over 6 months. This is Dendrobium Caesar Pink, by the way. It's a primary hybrid. This one that I showed you earlier is Dendrobium Minnie, M-I-N-N-I-E, which is actually a smaller stature. Now this is Lowana Nioka. That's another primary hybrid, and so primary hybrids are kind of the perfect. You see, I mean, there's lots of new blooms coming all over. This one has been blooming non-stop for 2 years. There's twice in July, there's like 2 or 3 weeks without blooms, but otherwise it's non-stop. So getting back to primary hybrids, that's kind of a perfect compromise between a species lover like me and somebody who prefers the ease of a hybrid, because the primary species is still pretty much close to what you will encounter in nature, and as a matter of fact, there are some real primary hybrids that grow in nature because there are two plants that live side by side, but at the same time they are less finicky than the true species because they are a mix, and they will be tolerant of some mistakes that you might be making. Another one, this is a real species. This is Tangerinum. It's still not blooming. It will bloom for 3 or 4 months, and as you can tell, it starts having little spikes here. And these are gorgeous bloom. As the name says it, Tangerinum, it's actually brownish orangey, and it has a purple lip. So these are really beautiful. This is a species. It's been thriving, and every year that's the same thing. It gives me beautiful blooms. So I do want to mention one thing regarding watering. So technically, those that grow in Australia, which is a small group, typically might need a small rest. I've not experienced that here. This is a primary hybrid made of 2 Australian species, but I water it year round and it's happy. So you want to be careful. So if you have an Australian species, you want to check that. Other from that, the New Guinean, the ones from New Guinea, sorry, you really want to water them year round, and they are very easy to grow. That's the majority of them. Thank you so much.